Good evening, welcome back to Tylane Ducksworth Reviews, and I am Tylane. My. Alright, y'all. TMZ just dropped the official autopsy update on rapper T Hood on yesterday. You guys have probably already seen the headline, but what I want to do is break down the details inside this report because some of them really stand out. And tonight, you guys, we are going to dig a little bit deeper than the surface, not just what the autopsy confirms, but also what it leaves unclear and what it has cleared up, okay? And the questions that are still hanging in the air. We're gonna go ahead and get into this article from TMZ. Please like, comment, and subscribe. T Hood autopsy, rapper shot in back in domestic dispute, police still probing self-defense. Gwinnett County Police Department tells TMZ the autopsy report does not reveal anything they didn't already know. The cops are saying that the incident, despite T Hood getting shot in the back, is still being investigated as a self-defense shooting, which completely blew my mind. The article goes on to say the young man was unalived in a brutal fashion and shot multiple times, TMZ has learned. According to Gwinnett County's medical examiner report, they are stating that T Hood suffered gunshot wounds to the back, abdomen, buttocks, and lower right and left thighs, as you guys can see here in this image that they provided to us. It was also alleged, reports are telling us, T Hood allegedly pulled a firearm during the heated argument with two other people inside his Georgia home. In the process of that happening, someone opened fire in self-defense, and as we all know, that resulted in T Hood's unaliving. The wounds were fatal, and this was back on August the 8th, 2025, which was on a Friday. They said that the ambulance came, however, he was escorted to the nearest hospital where he was pronounced expired at the time. We all know that he had been dating Love and Hip Hop Atlanta stars Kirk and Rasheeda's daughter, Kelsey. Well, actually, Kelsey is Kirk's daughter, but Rasheeda's stepdaughter. Investigators were called to the home in Snellville, Georgia, and they were called initially due to a domestic disturbance dispute between two people at the house. And police have identified in the photo where the arrow is Kelsey Frost, the son of Kirk and Rasheeda, has been named as the prime suspect. That's Kelsey Frost to the right of the family photo here. They go on to say that no charges have been filed yet, and police are still investigating to determine whether the shooter acted in self-defense. However, the fact that T Hood was shot in the back, that may complicate the scenario, which I expected once that report came out. They also go on to say that a separate police report was obtained that was submitted from March of 2025, stating that allegedly Kelsey had called 911 and T Hood allegedly left in her black Benz Mac Mini following an argument after a night out at a nightclub. Okay? Alrighty, let's start with the report, what the report actually says, okay? So according to the autopsy, T Hood's official cause of death was multiple gunshot wounds. That much lines up with what we had been hearing since the day of the shooting. But here's where it matters, you guys. The autopsy confirms medical evidence, and it gives us details on how many times that the young man was struck. I believe it was a total of 7 wounds altogether. And the clarity in this is important. I want to go back to that image. Give me just a second here. Just a moment. Alrighty, thank you guys. My apologies. From what I'm seeing here, it looks like there is 1E, 2E, 5E, 5EX, 4EX, and 4B. And then there is some additional wounds at the front, but we're just going to go by what the original report said, that gunshot wounds were to the back, abdomen, buttocks, lower right, and left thighs. I know there has been multiple different reports coming out, and that's why I'm saying allegedly. One report said there were 5, and then it was said that it was 7, and his family said something in between 5 and 7. In addition to that, we all learned that allegedly previously he was in the hospital recovering from 3 previous gunshot wounds from a previous separate situation. Allegedly, the medical examiner would be the one that breaks down what wounds were previously there and what wounds came directly from this incident, okay, that happened on August 8, 2025. Alrighty, you guys, up until now, everything else we've been told about this came from police reports and social media. From the beginning, the story has centered on an alleged domestic violence situation between T. Hood and his girlfriend, Kelsey Frost, and then the involvement of her 2 brothers, which we know that Rasheeda and Kirk have 2 sons, Kai Frost and Kirk Frost, but I have not seen any reports of Kirk's name actually spelled out, presented, or anything. It's only been that allegedly Kai Frost was named as the prime suspect. The autopsy doesn't clear up those circumstances. It only confirms the result that T. Hood was shot multiple times and those wounds were fatal. Now, you guys, this is where things get complicated. So the police say this started as a domestic disturbance where Kelsey was injured, allegedly. They also say that the shooter arrived after the altercation, however, stayed on the scene and is cooperating. And right now, the case is being handled as a possible self-defense situation. A police report was obtained by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, names Kai Frost as the shooter, while stressing that the self-defense angle is still under review. So they have not moved forward, other than they are currently investigating this incident as self-defense. That's the official paper trail as of now. At the same time, there are competing narratives online. We've heard from T. Hood's mom, his sisters have allegedly been on social media nonstop. They were the ones that released the alleged video. It appeared that Kelsey was the aggressor. That was after we received the videos that the friend put out. I forgot, I think her name was Sierra. Allegedly, the footage that she put out that showed T. Hood violently, aggressively lunging over Kelsey while she was lying in bed, okay? This is all alleged. So, like I said, his family's been on social media. They stated that Kelsey called her brothers to come over. Kelsey publicly came out and denied those claims immediately. She told us, I believe it was on Instagram or X, formerly known as Twitter, she was advised not to speak, but she couldn't allow the false narrative to run rampant, so she felt she had to come out and say something, even though she was advised not to, okay? In a situation like this, you should take the advice of your family and attorneys, because anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. You should always just stay quiet, but anyway, she was not able to do that, so she came out and publicly spoke, denying the claims that T. Hood's mom and sisters alleged against her, okay? Saying that she never asked anyone to harm T. Hood and that she loves him. Other reports say T. Hood allegedly pulled a firearm during the altercation, and then shots rang out, and the autopsy confirms he was hit multiple times, including at least 1 shot to the back. Still, Gwinnett County Police told TMZ this doesn't change their current view of the case as self-defense. So the bottom line is the autopsy confirms how T. Hood expired, passed away, but it doesn't resolve the confusion about who did what, when, and why. And that's why people are interpreting the same set of facts in very different ways. I bring that up to say that people were saying that, oh, he was shot in the back. Well, that doesn't automatically make it not, I thought that automatically would make it not self-defense. Throughout the shots ringing out, we don't know what shots struck this young man first. Did he get shot and allegedly was spun around by one of the bullets? Was he actually headed out the door? The wound to the back was the first wound, second wound. We don't know which order this came in. So that's going to be up to the medical examiner, forensic pathologist, which is the medical examiner, to determine, and for the police to continue this investigation to determine what, when, and why, in which order did those shots take place. in order for them to come to the ultimate conclusion of how this is going to move forward or not move forward. As soon as TMZ published the update, reactions poured in. Some fans say this finally brings closure. They feel the facts are now documented and official, but others aren't convinced. I've seen people online calling it incomplete, even suspicious. I'm not going to say this person's name, but I saw on another content creator's podcast, I'll just say an attorney was present, and when the attorney first received the updates of the investigation that the autopsy came out, that particular attorney didn't come out and say that it was suspicious, but it was implied that with the wound being to the back, and the fact that it seems like that Gwinnett County is leaning in the direction of self-defense, even with the updated information that came out. Okay? And honestly, that division isn't telling. In cases like this, an autopsy is supposed to calm speculation. Instead, it might fuel it even more, because when the report doesn't match what people thought they knew, it sparks a whole new wave of questions. And that's why I said this autopsy raises more questions now. I'm sure a lot of people were hoping, the majority, that once the autopsy was released, that we would know which direction this case was going in. But unfortunately, this has opened up more questions, especially with the family allegations of allegedly Kelsey called her brothers, the alleged she set him up, Kelsey's denial saying I never asked anyone to harm him. Allegedly, it was said that I believe Kai was coming home from work and he got wind of the fact that once again, allegedly T Hood was putting his hands on his sister, and that's how he arrived there. I'm not sure if the other brother arrived or how the other brother arrived, because nobody has elaborated on the other brother ever getting there. They just said she called her brothers. But again, in police reports, the only brother's name that has been mentioned is Kai Frost. So where does this leave us at this point now? What does this mean going forward? So on paper, we now have the official cause of death. That's one chapter that's closed, but in reality, the unanswered questions mean this case isn't done being talked about. Not by fans, the media, us content creators, which is a part of the media, and not by the people closest to Tevin Hood, which is T Hood. It also shows how quickly narratives can spin and can shift. Yesterday, it was speculation. The day before yesterday, it was speculation. Yesterday, it was the autopsy was confirmed, and I'm pretty sure today or tomorrow it could be something else entirely different. Okay, that's just the cycle of the news. But here I want to slow it down, not just repeat the headline, but look at what the details actually mean. So we know the autopsy is clear, but the timeline is murky. The timeline on whether allegedly did Kelsey reach out to her brothers. Did her brother just happen to arrive there? Did her brother overhear yelling and chaos from their place and he decided to go over there? What firearm allegedly was pulled first? What part of the body allegedly a bullet struck first? We don't have any of that information. So that is going to be up to the authorities in their continued investigation to resolve this, okay? And to hopefully update us once they gather all of their information. So here's my question for you guys. Do you guys think this autopsy clears things up, or does it leave more doubt? Because from where I'm sitting, this feels less like closure and more like a new chapter of just more unfolding in this case. Please drop your thoughts below. I want to hear how you see it, and if you want commentary that digs a little bit deeper than the surface, please like, comment, and subscribe. Please click that notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next. I'm Ty Lane. This is Ty Lane Ducksworth Reviews. Till next time, and I'm out. Y'all take care and be safe.